The following is a production of Boiling Springs, Upstate Prepcast.
Welcome into another edition of Real Talk with head coach Matt Reel. Tom Dixon along with Ken Walters, and behind the camera, Todd Waddell. Coach Reel, great to have you with us tonight. Coming off of a tough game the other night, but we had a lot of positives, played hard, and had our chances.
Yeah, I thought our kids played extremely hard Friday night. Just didn't execute. It's kind of what it comes down to right now. We're in that stretch of the season where you're playing really good people every week, and it's getting down to the nitty gritty, and they're jostling for the region championship, jostling for playoffs. What that looks like, where you end up getting seated at, and where you end up either hosting or traveling. So we got to be our best, and again, played really hard Friday night. Had opportunities, really throughout the whole game. Had some bad things happen early. And, I thought our kids fought back, did a great job, putting some pressure on them and causing some turnovers, causing some, safeties that kind of got us back into the game, and just didn't take advantage of, some really good drives we put together and kind of, got inside the red zone area or the 20, basically inside of 25, and just couldn't get it done, But, again, always, proud of how hard our kids play. I don't think that's really been in question, the last 3 years. That's kind of been something they've always done. We just really got to be better, executing our game and finishing people off.
Yeah, the effort was definitely there, and we talked about this before the game. Against a team like Spartanburg, it comes down to execution and not making mistakes or creating mistakes for the other team. And unfortunately, we had 3 turnovers, and they put 7 points on the board early because of a short field we set them up with, and then one of our turnovers was, again, inside the red zone. I think first and goal from the 1, and unfortunately didn't come out with points. Then had another first and goal inside the 10. A couple penalties pulled us back out of the red zone.
Yep.
You can't do that against a team like Spartanburg or anybody else in our region.
No.
Other teams can't do that against us. We're going to make them pay for it. And it's just unfortunate we were on the short end of that one. But we had our chances, played well, moved the ball up and down the field, I think.
Yeah, I thought we ran the ball really well, which we've not been able to do against them, in a couple of years. The last time we won against them at home, I thought we did a great job that night of running the football and really keeping them off balance. Friday night, I thought we did a great job of running the football, controlling. If you look at time of possession, you look at all that kind of stuff, you would think we would have won the football game. And they were just a little bit better, obviously, inside the red zone than we were, and that's what it came down to. And the turnovers, were costly for us, and then also it just kind of changed how we had to attack things on the last drive, where we had a drop down there that would have given us a first down. But at that point, we're down 14. 5 minutes to go in the game, you really had to press the issue. And I felt like if we had scored the drive before, it's a 21-14 game, we got to stop on defense, had all the momentum. That next drive, Coach Turk has the ability to run the ball, which we did a really good job of, or, go to the pass if we want to, rather than being down 14, having to try and score fast to give yourself a chance, because we still had, I think, 3 timeouts at that junction. So if you get that, still got 3 timeouts, you really got a chance if you get a stop to go and win the football game. But, it just didn't work out that way, and we had to, kind of be a little bit more heavy on the pass than we wanted to be in that situation, and ended up turning the ball over downs down there, the interception in the end zone. So
right.
It's a tough night, man. It's just frustrating, not just for us as coaches, but the kids too, man. There was a lot of kids, if you saw them after the game, tears in their eyes. They left it all out there. They played as hard as they could play, and again, we just didn't execute to the level we needed to. But it's not because of a lack of care or what they're putting into it. And
right.
I think from me, there was a year when I first got here where that wasn't the case.
No.
We would lose and kids would be laughing and going and hugging their parents and just kind of like, this is what we're used to, this is what we expect. And to me, it drove me insane because I knew everything we were putting into it. And, you never want to lose. That's not the goal, obviously. We coach every week to win. We prepare every week to win. But, man, it's hard when you see those kids laying it all out on the line and it just don't work out for them sometimes. So, but for me, that's a positive. It's obvious they care. It's obviously that they're invested. And we're going to get better, and we're going to win games because of that.
Yeah, I mean, I've been here 18 years, Coach, doing this, and you're right. In the past, there's been some teams that it wouldn't have bothered them. They just shrugged their shoulders and went off and said, well, I got something to do later this evening, and we'll come back to practice on Monday or whatever and see what happens. But, these guys, you can tell the effort's there. It's just sometimes the execution doesn't quite take place, or you have a bad bounce here or there. We had a couple things didn't go our way. A backwards pass that was ruled an incomplete pass. It changed the complexity of the whole drive on that one play. Instead of being, I think they would have been 3rd and 17. Instead, they're 3rd and 2.
Yep.
And that was a huge difference. I mean, that was a big momentum changer early in the ball game that it turned around and cost us.
Yeah, it did. But I think the biggest thing that obviously they led to a score. Whereas feel a lot better about our chances to stop them if it's 3rd and 17 compared to 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 1. I think it was 3rd and 1. And they ended up getting a first down on 4th down. But to me, the kind of the backbreaker, if you want to call it, was the turnover on the 1. Had a big drive. Just mishandled some stuff and it didn't work out and turned the ball over. And that kind of shifted everything. The kids kept fighting, kids kept going. We had another great drive, right after that. But it just, having that next drive at 21-14, like I said, could have been a lot different from a play call and selection and really just being able to do what we felt like we were doing best. But it didn't happen. And you are what your record is. And that just tells me we got to be more consistent. We got to keep pounding the pavement as far as getting better, finding little things, critiquing them, putting our kids in the best situation we can. And, going into this week, having, 4 great days of practice and preparation, and then being very confident when you go to Riverside on Friday.
Coach, it seems like a couple of times on their 2 touchdown passes, their formation was 3 receivers to one side on both of those touchdown passes. And I know we've addressed it a couple of times. I know early in the season we were having some issues with that. What did you see on those 2 touchdown passes?
The first one, we bid on a stick route, which is a 5-yard out, and they threw the vert behind us. We were about a step too late on it. They put up and made a play. The second touchdown they threw, we just didn't carry him vertical. Linebacker didn't carry him vertical right there, and that's why he came open. So, both things are things we can do, things we've done repeatedly all year, just didn't execute in that moment, and that's the difference. I keep telling the guys, and they're like, this guy keeps saying this stuff over and over and over again, but you have to play every single play like it's the last play, and because you never know in the game. For us, a lot this year, it's come down to 4 or 5 plays throughout the whole 4 quarters of the game. It's not been, we were just really bad the whole game.
Right.
But it's been, 3 or 4 plays that are spread out through the whole course of the game that has cost us, and it's the same way offensively. Like, there's things, the turnover on the 1, just some different things where in the moment we just got to be better than what we've done. We got to execute in the moment and not let what we do wrong be something that makes something easy for them. And that's where we're at right now. When we don't do those things, we're a really good football team. When we don't, we leave ourselves open to lose to good teams, obviously, but then also teams that, just honestly we don't feel like are the same caliber as we are. But when you give people wide open throws, you give people easy access, or you don't block a guy, give him a free run, there's just – you make teams that are average or just a little bit above average really, really good.
2 other things I saw. One, I thought we got to the quarterback a little bit more. I know we obviously had the safety, but we had a couple more sacks than we usually have in it. So I thought our defensive linemen and our linebackers got to the quarterback a little more. And that running game, man, that if I had a fantasy team, I'd have scored some points with some running backs this weekend, from Bowling Springs. I mean, we really can we carry all that momentum both on defense and offense over to this week?
Yeah, I think, man, it's really tough too. We've got 3 guys in the backfield that we really, really like. and they all do really, really good things for us. And I think that's the hard part that Coach McDowell has is who gets to carry his win, and how do you continue to rotate that to where everybody's, getting to be a part of it and everybody's getting touches. And it's a good problem to have, but that's kind of where we're at right now. I think, some of the positives from Friday night for me was we did establish the run. We did establish the physicality up front. When we needed to get 3 yards, we can get 3 yards. We had, I felt like we were like one jersey grab, one ankle, swipe away from a 25, 30-yard gain, and we ended up getting 5 or 6, which 5 or 6 is fine. But we just need that big play, that big energy play, that big power play, a lot of people call it, to get. And I think we were just really close Friday night, but we were very consistent in the run game. And I think when you can do that, teams have to make choices. Are they going to let you control the clock all night, or are they going to bring extra guys to the box? And then when that happens, obviously we have opportunities to make plays in the passing game. So was really pleased with how we ran the ball. I think every guy was above 3.5, 4 yards a carry,
right.
Which was huge. I'm not real smart, but if you do that 3 times, it's a first down. So
that was Danny Ford's philosophy.
Well, and two, there was never a point Friday night where I felt like the game was out of grasp. Even though we trailed the whole game, because we could control the ball and we were keeping their offense off the field and limiting, what they were doing. Really, after the first quarter, we kind of did that the rest of the game. So, I thought you mentioned our D-line. I thought they've done a great job the last couple of weeks of being more active, being able to get back there, cause some issues. And we just got to keep building off that. We're at a point now where we've got, there's some goals that we had that are off the table. But there's still, chances for us to do some things we haven't done in a while. We can still get to 6 wins. We can still host a home playoff game. There's still a lot of positives and things that are really important to me that we haven't done yet that we can still do. And I keep talking to this group about, what's your imprint going to be on our football program? You seniors, what's going to be the thing that we look at 10 years from now when you guys come back for your reunion and we talk about, what is it that you put on our program that people are going to remember you by? And, don't live off your junior year. Make your own imprint, make your own things happen. And I think we're still going to do that. And I'm excited just to get back to work this week like we have been, and getting to Greenville on Friday night.
I'm glad you said that about you. There was no point in the game where you felt you were out of it, because we actually commented on that after the game on a post-game show where you could tell the players, even the last play where we were trying to get that first down, it wasn't until when we didn't get that first down did you see kind of the air deflate when it was, under a minute, when they knew they just weren't going to get the ball back.
Yep.
So,
well, and I think that's, to me, that's one of the things that we had to change when we got here was just, do we compete 4 quarters? Does it matter? And am I willing to stay in the moment even though it's going to hurt? And I think we've done a good job of that. And I just believe at some point, those characteristics, those things, those drive, those commitments are going to pay off for this group, in the long run. I just believe that.
Yeah, and it's definitely been seen that each week the team's getting more committed and doing better each week. We got some special guests we're going to bring on here in just a second. We're going to take a break, come back, and we got our players of the game. We'll be right back.
Hey, baby! Wings Etc. now offers online ordering. Use your smartphone, tablet, or computer. Visit to-go.wingsetc.com. It's fast, it's easy, it's convenient, and you can order all your favorites exactly the way you like them. That's to-go.wingsetc.com for a direct connection to all your favorites. Wings, ribs, burgers, wraps, salads, ultimate nachos, and more. Order what you love, and it'll be ready for pickup before you even know it. Online ordering at Wings Etc. Well, click, then go.
Wings Etc., 2644 Bowling Springs Road in Bowling Springs.
Have you been hurt by church? Have you maybe lost your faith or lost your way? We understand that at View Church because we've been there. If you're looking for an authentic place to worship with authentic people that understand brokenness, we would love for you to come and be our guest sometime. We have 2 services at 8:30 and 11. And we're located at 5555 Paris Bridge Road in Bowling Springs. Come, find hope again.
And we're back at Real Talk with Coach Matt Reel. And, Coach, we got a couple special guests with us this week. Every week we do a offensive and defensive player of the game. These two guys here, they're the ones that choose it. But offensive player of the game this week, Tamaje Williford, great job running the ball. We were talking about the running backs just a few minutes ago, and we got three guys that can go at any moment. And all season, you've been one of the ones that you run bigger than you look, which is that's a good thing. You're not scared to put the head up and just run it, and it pays off. You had a lot of big runs the other night and did a good job for us.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that.
And tell us a little bit about coming into the game, playing against the Vikings here at home. You're a senior, last time playing at home against the Vikings. Unless we get some playoff situation, we might be able to somehow work it back, but I don't know. But
regular season game.
Yeah, might see them again in the playoffs. We hope we do. But coming into the game, what was your thought process knowing you're going against the Vikings?
Well, yeah, it was really nice playing against them for my last year, being able to go out and make plays. Going into the game, I had a mindset of how I wanted to make a name for myself. I've been working on trying to work my way up and make better plays for our team, put us in better predicaments to score the football. And yeah, was really focused on making big plays, getting those explosive plays that we needed for our offense.
Well, you've been doing that for us early in the season, and then Friday night we made the comment that we were able to establish the run better than we have in the past, and you were a big part of that. And that's why you got the offensive player of the game. But as a senior, what are you looking forward? What are your plans? Do you know what you're going to be doing next year, or what are your plans for the rest of this school year?
Well, the goal next year is to be in somebody college for free. That's always the goal.
I understand it.
Never want to pay for college.
No.
There you go.
But yeah, the goal is always to go to college, start a career, maybe, possibly go somewhere else after college. If not, start a career, figure out what I want to do in my life, really.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, you got plenty of time to figure all that out as long as you got a plan and you work the plan. But you worked real hard for us on Friday night, and we're counting on you again this Friday to carry the rock because we got two big games left to finish out the season and get set up for the playoffs. And running the ball might be a key point of both these games coming up, Coach. I don't know. Maybe. What do you think?
Obviously, anytime we can run the football effectively, we're going to be for that. The guy that I played for and worked under, he always said you got to travel your defense, you got to travel your run game, and you got to travel your special teams. He said if you do those three things, you're going to have a chance to win every game you're in. So that's obviously one of our goals. I think we get a bad rap of wanting to throw the ball a whole lot. If you look at our stats and our stuff every week, we really do try to establish the run as much as possible. So obviously Friday night we had a lot of success early, and I think it was very evident that was the strong part of what we were doing. So they did a good job of sticking with it, and we did a good job of feeding the hot hands. I think that's part of it too. Is the guys that step up and have the big plays and are really moving the offense down. You want to keep those guys involved, and Majay did a great job Friday night of doing that for us, and he's really he's done it for 2 years.
Yes.
Last year, Chim was injured the first of the year, and he got an opportunity to start and did a great job for us. Played really well all last year, and he's done the same this year. He's been given those opportunities to get out and do it. So just proud of him of sticking through and fighting through some things, and just being a senior for us and doing what he knows to do.
Yeah, again, a great job on Friday night. You were selected as the offensive player of the game for the game against Spartan High. Want to present that to you, and keep it up. We got Riverside this Friday night, and Burns coming to the house 2 weeks from now. We can't let up now.
Yes, sir.
Good job there. Now we're going to switch to defense. Defensive player of the game, TJ Collins. TJ, all year long we keep talking about, your name comes up a lot. These two guys during the game, they're texting each other. What do you think about this? And what about that? And so it's a game, it's a complete game conversation that I'm not allowed to be involved in. I can hear it, but I don't get into it. And your name's brought up all the time. And I think one of the comments was, well, we could give this to him every week, but we can't give it to the same guy every week. So we got to pass it around. And I remember one time several weeks ago, Ken, you can correct me if I'm wrong, well, we could have given it to TJ. We could have done it last week. We'll probably get a chance to do it again next week. So let's share the love with some people. And the other night was, no, he's got it this time. There's no question. This is the guy for this game against Spartan High. And you played a great game. Tell us a little bit about you facing the Vikings as a senior.
Really, I feel like I really put a lot of anger into what happened last year. I feel like last year they just came out and really punched us in the mouth, and I feel like I really had something to prove and just like go out there and just give it my all. Because last year, I think last year's game we came in thinking just because the year before that we beat them, we were going to do that again, and that did not happen at all. They came in, punched us in the mouth, and I feel like I used that energy, that fuel to just get me to where I was that game. So.
Well, you played with a little anger Friday night, which is a good thing, especially if you're playing on defense.
Yes,
Like last year game you mentioned, the first quarter they did, but second, third, and fourth quarter we played them even.
Right.
Unfortunately, we kind of put ourselves in the hole. This year, kind of the same thing. First drive we had a little mix-up. Next thing you know, they got a point, so we're behind. But we didn't let it get away from us. A couple of mistakes here or there kept us from tying the ball game up and winning it. But on defense, they got a pretty good running back over there, and he didn't run all over us like everybody thought he would. Like they think every week he's going to run everybody. Well, he didn't, and a lot had to do with who he had to go through to get the yardage, and he just couldn't do it.
Yes,
so again, great job. Tell us a little about I know you play baseball too, but we're in football season. We got 2 more regular season and playoffs coming up, so let's don't put the glove on just yet. But tell us a little bit about TJ's plans for his senior year.
My plans, I really do plan to. Obviously, yes, I'm playing a sport in college. I am still deciding whether it's going to be football or baseball. Whether it is, whichever one it is, I just know I will give it my all. Hopefully, even maybe so, it could be both. I really would love to do that. I know I will give it my all, so that'll be pretty exciting to do.
Well, I've never seen you not give it your all either. And on the baseball field, on the football field, the last couple of years football, in the weight room, you're doing all the things, classroom, doing all the things you're supposed to do to get ready for that next level, and that it pays dividends. But again, you were selected as a defensive player of the game for the game against Spartan High. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
I'm gonna brag on TJ for a minute. I'm on the sideline roaming up and down and trying to watch what's going on not only on the field but on the sideline. And all season long, you see TJ and sometimes Tamaje, but TJ is just so big, and he's got such a big personality. And during one of the touchdown passes Friday night, I saw him take Curran Nesbitt on the sideline. They were having a conversation, and I can almost tell you what was being said. I'm gonna need you for the next play. Let's get over this. It's done. We'll fix it at practice. It wasn't anything to bring that man down. It was bringing that man up, and that's the kind of leader that these guys are.
That's senior leadership.
Yeah.
That's why he's the position he's in and pay dividends. Is there a way we can reclassify and come back next year? I know Coach over here is thinking, is there what we can do?
Yeah.
Well, both of these guys have meant a lot to me. Obviously going into year 4, these guys were here when I first got here. So just watching them, mature and grow, and the biggest thing too is that banner that's hanging up in here is the state weightlifting championship. Both of these guys were big members of that, and they've bought into this room. They bought into what our program is. Friday night we were trying to fix helmets for the first 4 or 5 minutes of the game with TJ just banging on people, and they're busting, and we're replacing chin straps, and I'm losing my mind because we got extra helmets, but it's just not your helmet. It doesn't fit, right. So he's out there with somebody else's helmet on trying to get it done, and and he has, I think, 16 tackles Friday night.
Yeah, he was all over.
A sack, tackle. I'm typing up state award, nominations for the year, and I don't know. I don't know until we break down film on Saturday exactly what the numbers are and what that looks like. And I'm like, God dang, he had 16 tackles last night.
Yeah.
And just the epitome of a competitor. We talk about, one of the things we talk about is being alphas and what that word means, and just the mentality of that. And I think he embodies that. He's obviously figured out, as far as what next year looks like. He's going to have opportunities to play both. And like I said, he may have an opportunity at a couple schools already to be able to play both, sports and college. So, we're excited to see where it goes, see where this recruitment goes for both of these guys. And then, that's our job to get them in front of as many people as possible, but it makes it a lot easier when they make plays and look as good on film as they did, obviously, Friday night for us.
Yeah, they both did a phenomenal job, have all season, carried over from last year to this year. Both of y'all did that, and, we appreciate the hard work you've done, but again, job's not done yet. We got 2 more regular season, 1 on the road, and one back here. Your last regular season game at the Dog Pound 2 weeks from now against the Rebels, but we got to take care of the Warriors this week, and going to need both of you to step up and give us your best, and I know you will. Well,
sir.
again, congratulations,
Be
guys.
bad.
We appreciate
Yes,
all the hard work,
Yes,
and we'll
sir.
see you Friday night.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
We're going to take a break, come back, and wrap it up, talk a little bit about Riverside.
Derrick Henry.
Hey, Jake from State Farm. I saved so much bundling, it inspired my workout. Auto! Home!
Okay. And this is Auto again, right?
Auto!
Hey, this is my living room.
Home!
Bundling, just another way to save with the personal price plan.
The dog isn't allowed on the couch, Derek.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Call Agent Chad Wagner, Asheville Highway, Spartanburg, 585-7999.
Since 1925, Seawright Funeral Home has been caring for families in the Spartanburg area during the difficult times of personal loss. Staff at Seawright is committed to providing your family with exceptional service. They have an experienced staff. Their facility is located in beautiful downtown Inman. On site, there's a chapel, multiple viewing rooms, crematorium, and arrangement rooms. Experiencing the loss of a loved one is difficult. Allow the caring professionals at Seawright Funeral Home to honor your family with dignity and respect.
And we're back here at Real Talk with Coach Matt Reel. And, Coach, we got Riverside on the road. Big region game, playoff implications. I mean, it's down to crunch time. You know, we've got to win, and I know we will. But, you know, what is Riverside? What do they pose, or what have you seen on film that concerns you, or is it just another region game because they're all good?
I mean, it's a little bit of that. Their quarterback's a good player. He started for them last year as a sophomore. He's back as a junior. Obviously, he'll be a 3-year starter for them by the time it's all said and done. We had a good one that started for us for 3 years, too.
I was thinking that.
I understand, you know, every year you get a little bit more confidence in that guy. He's a mobile guy. They'll run. They have designed runs for him. They'll get empty and throw it around. They'll be in quads and some different stuff, just trying to get the light box for them. And they'll run quarterback, you know, power, quarterback trap, whatever you want to call it. They do a lot of stuff with him. He's also a guy, too, if we're not disciplined with our rush lanes, if we're not disciplined, you know, and we give a gap, you know, I've seen on film a lot where guys get out of their lanes and that lane opens up, he'll step up and take it, which – you know, we just got to be good about. We've seen some guys like that all year. I thought we did a good job Friday night of not allowing that, but this is definitely a point of emphasis. They do some things offensively that make it tough on you. They spread you out a lot. They put you in space to make plays on some guys that are good players for them. And then defensively, I think they're very opportunistic. They're a 3-3 stack 95% of the time. They're going to keep 6 guys in the box. They've got a kid that's already committed to Wake Forest, Samad Edie, really good athlete. He'll be a little bit everywhere on the field. He's been more at corner the last couple weeks, so got to know where he's at. You know, not that we're not going to challenge, not that we're going to take what's there, but he's a really good player. It'd be stupid for us not to know where he's at all the time.
Oh, yeah.
They try to sneak him in on offense, special teams, different things. You know, he's a guy we've got to know where he's at and make sure I always tell our guys, don't let King Kong beat you. You know, you got guys every week that are the guys. Last week it was Lynch, the running back. I thought we did a good job on him.
Yes.
So, you know, make somebody else be the guy that if they're going to go and be productive, make somebody else earn it. So I think they're improved from last year. You know, I know that's crazy, but I think just that the quarterback being in the system another year has been good for them. So we just got to be consistent, man. We got to be disciplined in what we do. We can't give them free things. It's homecoming, so they're going to be fired up there. I made sure our guys knew that. You know, that's a choice. You choose every year who you play for homecoming. So,
you take that personal if you're a visiting team and they picked you for homecoming. You should take it personal.
Well, I mean, it's deep into the season.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I don't know many homecomings that are going on late October.
Right.
So
they're sending a message, and we just need to answer that message.
And people don't look into that stuff, but for me, it is what it is, man. I know I choose our homecoming opponent every year, so I'm assuming they do the same. And you know, whether that's a point of emphasis or not, I take it that way. I hope our kids take it that way. Hopefully, it's a little bit more fire into them to go, you know, into a visitor's, you know, stadium and take over. And that's the goal every time we travel is to go take over their stadium and make those people quiet and make them get up and leave in the third quarter. That's our goal every time we go somewhere. So there's a lot at stake this week, a lot on the line. We just need to answer. We've kind of been a win, lose, win, lose, win, lose. If you look at our schedule every single week, we haven't lost 2 games in a row. We hadn't won 2 games in a row. So I would like to continue that for this week and then have our first 2-game win streak, going into next week. But again, man, I told these kids, like, it's your team, man. We're lucky enough to be able to put the plan in place, but at the end of the day, you guys, make bad calls, good calls, and sometimes you make good calls, bad calls, depending on how you play. But it's their team, it's their chance to go and prove themselves again, against a good team. And it's really critical for us right now with how things are laid out for the playoffs. We need to win this game. We need to stay where we're at in the region and then give ourselves a chance to better ourselves, next week if we get to that point. We're still kind of jockeying with us and Malden and maybe one other team kind of for a home playoff game right now. And these last 2 weeks are going to be critical, for that. So there's a lot that we got to play for right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's in our hands. If we win out, we take care of business. But if we leave it in somebody else's hand, then, we might be on the road, and we definitely don't want to do that. These guys have worked hard for it. But again, the job's not done. And going over to Riverside used to be, it used to be kind of, well, that's a given, but it's not a given anymore. They've done a good job over there and a lot of growth in that area, just like up here. And Riverside's not a pushover anymore.
No, Coach Rochester does a great job. I talk to him often. Outside of our week when we play, I just think he's a good guy. I think he coaches hard. I think he does a great job with their guys. I really thought last year was going to be a closer game than what it was. We did some things early that kind of got them out of sorts, and we just did a really good job of executing, that first half. And I'm hoping we do the exact same thing on Friday night. I think we have an opportunity to go and do that. But just like every team we play, man, you have to go and do it. You have to go and take it. Nobody's going to give you anything. And I think, they saw us this summer 7-on-7. They actually beat us at 7-on-7. And I think that was a turning point for them from a confidence standpoint was, what happened last year, that's the improvement they saw during the summer. So he's got a confident group. They're going to be excited for us to get there. I'm sure they think they're going to go in and do what they need to do as well. So, we got to go and take it. That's going to be the biggest thing we got to do is we got to go establish ourselves. We got to, just force ourselves on them Friday night and go get the win.
Coach, we really haven't had a nail-biter game yet. Where we need a last drive to win, or we have to hold a team from making that last drive, for them to beat us. And this game coming up is kind of feeling that, maybe this might be a game during the season where we have to hold on to the lead, or we have to make that last-minute drive. And I know in practice, I know in summer and in the fall, you go over those things. But is that something you still script during practice during the season?
Yeah, I mean we do some different situational stuff. Typically, right after we warm up, we try to jump into something, competition-wise. To get our guys going. I don't like to kind of lull into things. We usually just jump right into it. We'll go, like tomorrow, we'll have some sort of situation. It'll either be a 2-minute or less drill. And it's just game-like. We line up, I'll have the clock running, and we go through it. And we either offensively win or defensively get a stop and win. And that's just kind of the way we've done it. And it's just one of those things we do. Today was our competition drills was 2nd down and 10, and then you play 3rd down. So that was what we did. We just did those situations repeatedly for the 2 periods we were doing them. So, and I think that's you have to practice all those things to not be in the moment and kind of feel like what's going on right here. I haven't been here. Greer was kind of that way a little bit week 0, going from 22-0 to having to get a stop at the end.
Right.
But it's like you said, it's not really been that way since then. It's either been Malden was kind of that way. It was kind of a back and forth game, but we were just so sloppy early. Didn't really give ourselves a chance, that last drive to go and get it done. But it's all things you do all the time. I told the kids the other day when I was at North Myrtle, we had Myrtle Beach was they were our rival, and they were the team that we knew if we were going to win the region, we had to beat them. If we were going to win a lower state championship, we were going to have to beat them again, all those top things. And we had practiced one play. We had a kid that was playing DN and tight end for us. He's at Syracuse now. But we had a play. We had practiced with him on it like a bootleg type deal. And we practiced it every week. And we didn't use it in the regular season. Didn't use it the first round of the playoffs. Didn't use it the second round. But the third round of the playoffs, I think it was like a 3rd and 8. It's still a pretty close game at that time. And the first time in 13 weeks that we had actually ran it in the game, we hit it for a touchdown. And every week our coaches were like, why are we running this? Why are we running this? We've never used this play, and then week, 13, we called it, we executed it, we scored a touchdown, and kind of separated that game from being a close game to a 2-score game. So to what you're talking about, even though maybe we haven't had to do this stuff, we practice our Hail Mary stuff every Thursday.
Okay.
Hadn't done it one time this year, but if the situation calls for it, we've worked on it. Taking a safety on punts, all these little kind of intricate things that could come up, couldn't come up, whatever it may be. You just got to work those things and know that if it shows up, you're prepared. And the biggest thing to me is the kids not feeling like they're in a foreign area.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If that situation comes up, you better have worked on it, because if this the first time you're doing it is in that moment, you're probably not going to be successful. So our coaches do a great job of preparing for those things. Coach Anderson and Coach Turk are two of the most just prepared guys from top to bottom as far as what we do, how we do it, making sure we hit every situation possible. So, but a lot of that, just comes down to kids refusing to lose in the moment.
Yes.
Can you compete, and can you say, I'm just not going to let them beat us?
Make the play.
Or we're going to go and win no matter what. And I think that's, if we get in that situation, I'll be 1,000% confident we're going to get it done.
Well, Coach, if you've got a play that on 3rd down is going to lead to a touchdown, let's call it in the first quarter instead of the 4th quarter, so we take all that out of the equation and we don't have to worry about the last minute of the game. But, I like the fact that you're prepared for it, but let's get it done in the first quarter and just kind of hold on tight.
Trust me, I'm all for that.
Just throwing my 2 cents worth in there.
I'm all for that.
Ken, that's why we're up in the booth and they're on the field.
Yeah,
we can talk about it, but they're the ones executing it. Well, appreciate y'all joining tonight. We're going to wrap this up with Real Talk with Coach Matt Reel. We're going to be on the road to Riverside on Friday against the Warriors. If y'all can't make it, tune in and watch it with us. Please try to make the trip down I-85. And airtime starts at 7 o'clock. Kickoff is going to be at 7:30. Bulldogs against the Warriors. We'll see you there.